Red, the color of blood, the color of fire, the color of empire. For 2 centuries, British soldiers marched to war dressed in crimson. Not because it looked good, because it was a weapon. The red coat wasn't just a uniform. It was psychological warfare. Picture this. You're a colonial militia fighter hiding behind trees. Across the field, a wall of red advances through morning mist. Perfect lines, perfect timing, perfect terror, like death itself marching toward you in formation. The sound of drums, the glint of bayonets, and that terrible, endless crimson stretching horizon to horizon. Your hands shake, your mouth goes dry. That was the point. Red was chosen for 3 dark reasons. First, intimidation through primal fear. Ancient armies knew red triggered something deep in the human brain. Blood, violence, dominance, predator. When you saw redcoats coming, every instinct screamed danger. Your ancestors who survived tiger attacks recognized that crimson warning. Evolution itself worked against you. Second, economics and mass psychology. Red dye was dirt cheap across the empire. Madder root grew like weeds from England to India. While French armies struggled with expensive blues and Austrian whites cost fortunes, Britain could outfit 10,000 men in crimson for the price of a single cannon. Mass production of fear. An empire dressed on a shoestring budget. Terror by the yard. Third, absolute control over human behavior. On a chaotic battlefield shrouded in gunpowder smoke, officers needed to spot their men instantly. Red made soldiers impossible to miss. Impossible to hide behind cover. Impossible to desert without detection. Try explaining away a bright red coat in any tavern from Boston to Bombay. The uniform became a prison of visibility. But here's the darkest secret they never teach in history books. Red hid the blood. When your comrade beside you took a musket ball to the chest, when the bayonet found its mark, when the cannon grape shot tore through the ranks, the crimson stain vanished instantly into the fabric. Other soldiers couldn't see who was bleeding out, who was dying in agony, who would be next to fall. The line kept advancing over corpses. Moralistid, rock solid. Because the horror was invisible. The dead became camouflaged by their own uniforms. British commanders called it maintaining good order under fire. Modern psychologists would call it systematic emotional manipulation, weaponized denial, camouflage trauma. The red coat rewired entire identities. Nervous colonial farmers became imperial killing machines. Scared Irish boys became unbreakable soldiers. Their individual personalities erased by crimson cloth and relentless drilling. They weren't people anymore. They were components of a red war machine. Interchangeable, expendable, devastatingly effective. From Bunker Hill to Waterloo. From the Ganges to the Nile. From Kabul to Canton. From Cape Town to Quebec. The redcoat conquered a quarter of the inhabited world. But psychological warfare cuts both ways. Enemy marksmen learned to hunt those bright uniforms like beacons. Aim for the red became every rebel's desperate battle cry. American riflemen, Afghan snipers, Zulu warriors, the very thing that made redcoats terrifying made them perfect targets. Psychological warfare transformed into suicide missions. By the 1850s, warfare was evolving faster than tradition. Rifled weapons with deadly accuracy, longer killing ranges, smokeless powder. Redcoats became walking bullseyes on modern battlefields. The Crimean War proved it with brutal mathematics. British soldiers were being systematically picked off like carnival shooting gallery targets. So the empire finally adapted. Khaki for the burning deserts of Sudan, green for the dark forests of Burma, gray for the muddy trenches of the future. The age of camouflage had begun its reign. Invisibility slowly replaced intimidation as the new warfare. They called them redcoats with trembling fear, lobsterbacks with burning hatred, the thin red line with grudging, terrified respect. Because for exactly 200 years, red didn't just clothe an army. It clothed an empire built on systematic fear. It dressed conquest in scarlet psychology, the color that conquered nations and continents, not through superior tactics or innovative strategies, not through better weapons or advanced technology, through pure psychology, through weaponized fear, through the simple, terrible, brilliant power of red, a uniform that was really a mind control device. Psychological warfare disguised as military fashion. The greatest mind game in history that happened to be made of wool. This is Mindcraft Dark Psychology, where we explore the minds behind the myths, where we uncover the weapons disguised as clothing. The red coat, more than fabric, more than tradition, more than history, the color that conquered the world.